Hey, I'm Creaches is Creature Cars, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Peugeot Onyx concept car. The Peugeot Onyx was a weird but beautiful full-fledged hypercar from Peugeot that also came with a bicycle and a scooter. So if you're American like me, you might not be familiar with Peugeot as a brand. I think Peugeot is similar to Mitsubishi right now. It currently has in its lineup a subcompact SUV called the 2008, a compact SUV called the 3008, a compact car called the 208, and a mid-size sedan called the 508 that actually doesn't look that bad. But the rest of the brand does seem similar to Mitsubishi, so I think the Onyx is similar to if Mitsubishi showed off a supercar concept today. We're going to be taking a look over the history of this car, the exterior and the interior, and the specs and price. Let's start with the history of the Onyx. The Onyx was unveiled at the 2012 Paris Motor Show. Peugeot is a French company, by the way. The idea for the car started with the Peugeot 908 Le Mans racer. This was a race car that was entered in various competitions and actually performed fairly well for Peugeot. The Onyx was designed by Gilles Vidal, who had recently joined Peugeot at the time and is responsible for the company's current design language, although he now recently joined Renault. The Onyx was designed to represent an eco-friendly performance car for future generations and used a number of recycled wood and felt material. Moving on to the exterior of the car, I think the Onyx looks really good, especially considering this is a 10-year-old design. I do remember when this came out, I really liked the car. The copper sections of the body stand out and are what you notice first about the car. These are pieces of copper foil that are laid over the doors and part of the front bumper and quarter panel, while the rest of the car is matte black, which gives it a nice contrast against the copper. The doors slide forward, which looks really cool in action and gives an exotic feel. The front of the Onyx has a relatively small grille by modern standards, with the classic Peugeot lion at the center, slim headlights, and LED daytime running lights along the bumper. The wheels are black, and the rear wheels are set out wider than the front wheels, and it gives the Onyx a great stance. And coming around to the rear, the taillights are supposed to mimic the three-claw signature of the Peugeot lion, and in the center there is the Peugeot logo, as well as Peugeot spelled out beneath it. Below that, the Peugeot has 6 tailpipes and a neat looking rear diffuser. It seems like a wing was occasionally placed on the Onyx, but very few pictures show this. I think the wing may have been more practical for actually driving the car, but when the designers wanted to show off the concept, they took it off to take it to shows. The interior is even more interesting than the exterior, and it's largely composed of recycled felt with a gray wood grain dashboard. As like I said earlier, this car was meant to be very eco-friendly. There's a carbon fiber steering wheel with a flat bottom and top with a fully digital gauge cluster. The Onyx doesn't appear to have an infotainment system, although this may have been integrated within the gauge cluster, or it may not have had one, as this car was maybe designed to be a more track-focused car. There's a continuous chrome center console that separates the driver and passenger, and then one of the strangest things in the interior and about the entire car is that the seats are fully integrated with the car, so they are essentially non-existent. Where you sit on the floor, your head rests against the back of the car, as you can see in the pictures. It would be interesting to see what it's like to actually sit in the car. You probably feel like you're sitting very low, seeing as you're literally sitting on the floor. Onto the specs and performance of the Onyx. The Onyx was a hybrid car with a 3.7-liter twin-turbo V8 diesel direct injection engine. That engine was taken out of the 908 Le Mans racer that I mentioned earlier, and there was an electric motor added to it that was powered by a lithium-ion battery. This electric motor produced 80 horsepower, and the engine produced 600 horsepower and around 850 pound-feet of torque. The Onyx has a 6-speed sequential manual transmission, sitting powered to the rear wheels, and it weighs just 2,400 pounds on account of its carbon fiber body. It has dimensions of 183 inches in length, 87 inches wide, and 44 inches high. So the Onyx, unlike some concept cars, was completely operational, and it could go from 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and reach a top speed of 220 miles per hour. The Onyx also cost Peugeot around $3 million to produce, but it is certainly impressive that it can put out those numbers in 2012. So that's an overview of the 2012 Peugeot Onyx concept car. Hope you enjoyed this video, as it took quite a bit of time and work for me to put together, and I do plan on making more concept car videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.